In fact, I was going to say a little bit later the main point, but I'll say a little bit now also. Which is, you see, who are we? Who are we? Who am I? Are we all the thoughts and emotions that we have, or the stories? I mean, we can go and talk about this at great length, but I'll cut it short. Which is that everything, all these things like the thoughts and emotions, all these things which actually we associate as being ourself, is actually always changing. Now, this I'm sharing something really important, the heart. In fact, just recently, I've been discussing with some of my Lama friends. We're talking quite deeply about how can we show, how can we understand very simply, how can we show, how can we understand. It was a kind of very inspiring kind of, gathering, just few of us. And during the discussion, it came very clear that really, actually, all this, everything is always, like thoughts is changing, emotions is changing, everything is changing. So if you kind of grasp onto identify that as you, then it is not very reliable. Is that clear? Do you understand? But then, what then is really us? That is constant and unchanging. Is this. In a fundamental mind stream, there is this clarity, the cognizance. In fact, if you were to ask, what is the quality of mind? Or the quality of mind is to know. No. You understand? Look at this. There's a kind of clarity. We know, the cognizance. I don't want to be bogged down into words, because some can call it mind, others can call it consciousness, many things. When you start getting down to words, then it limits us. Let's look at more experientially. You see, in our basic, like for example, in Tibetan it is said, or in the teachings it said, what is the definition of a human being? Is Mashitenko, someone who can understand and someone who can communicate. Do you understand? That understanding, or who is the understander? What is that understands? This knowing quality of mind. The knowing quality. The knowing quality. This cognizance, we can call it also clear light. This cognizance has been there with us when we were very young, when we were teenagers, when we are now, and even when in our old age. In fact, in the Buddhist teaching said this consciousness will continue until enlightenment. This pure kind of consciousness, or you understand? Now, trouble is we do not recognize that.
Das Problem ist, dass wir es nicht erkennen
We don't come to know that.
oder wir machen uns nicht damit vertraut.
Instead, what happens is we just grasp onto thoughts,
Stattdessen
emotions,
greifen wir nach Gedanken, nach Emotionen,
which is just merely the manifestation of the mind,
die nur eine Manifestation des Geistes sind.
really. In fact, it is also because of this that we have hope, fear, all that.
Es liegt auch daran, dass wir Hoffnung, Furcht und so weiter
That actually through the teaching, through the wisdom teachings,
durch diese Weisheitslehren,
through the practice,
durch die Praxis,
when we come to really, how do you say, free the mind of grasping.
wenn wir in der Lage sind, den Geist vom Greifen zu befreien,
Because at the moment this knowing mind
im Augenblick ist dieser wissende Geist,
has been misused by the ego
wird missbraucht vom
to grasp.
wird missbraucht,
You understand? And then the whole point of the spiritual path
der ganze Punkt des spirituellen
is free the mind of its grasping
ist, den Geist von seinem Greifen zu befreien
and to return to the pure knowing.
und zum reinen Kennen oder Erkennen zurückzukehren.
Is that clear?
Ist das klar?
And it is this is the goal of meditation
Und genau das ist das Ziel der Meditation
at the highest level.
auf der höchsten Ebene.
The meditation at the beginning may be method oriented,
Wenn man mit der Meditation beginnt, ist man vielleicht eher auf eine Methode abgestimmt,
such as practice of mindfulness,
zum Beispiel eine Praxis der Achtsamkeit,
you see, of breath or any other object.
Atem oder ein anderes Objekt.
But the point of it all
Aber letztendlich ist der Punkt des Ganzen,
is slowly free the mind
den Geist langsam zu
of its grasping.
den Geist langsam
It's a bit like slowly allow the clouds to slowly dissolve,
Es ist so, als würde man den Wolken gestatten, sich langsam aufzulösen
revealing the more the sky-like nature of our pure mind.
und die himmelsgleiche Natur unseres reinen Geistes zu enthüllen.
And it is when you come in to discover this
Und wenn man dies entdeckt
and experience this,
und es erfährt,
something amazing, when you experience that pure mind,
es erstaunlich ist, wenn man diesen reinen Geist erfährt,
free of all the stories
frei von all seinen Geschichten,
of hope and fear, all this,
frei von Hoffnung,
or put it another way,
oder anders ausgedrückt,
when you experience that,
wenn man dies erfährt,
actually you're free of hope and fears,
ist man frei von Hoffnung und Furcht,
all the stories.
von all diesen Geschichten.
You understand? And where is that?
Und wo ist das?
Where is that clear awareness?
Wo ist dieses klare
Nowhere. With you.
als bei einem?
Always.
Ganze Zeit,
Always.
ganze Zeit,
Unchanging.
unverändert,
Always.
immer.
Our emotions, the thoughts may be happy, sad, but that really our fundamental mind or that is always constant.
Aber dieser grundlegende Geist ist immer da, ganz konstant.
It is actually coming to know this.
Und genau dies kennenzulernen,
Like, for example, when you come to discover that,
wenn man dies entdeckt,
and from out of that comes the great simplicity.
dann entsteht daraus eine große Einfachheit.
Simplicity.
Einfachheit,
You understand? Contentment,
eine Zufriedenheit,
joy,
eine Freude,
happiness. Even though your world or your life may be complex outside,
auch wenn dein eigenes Leben oder deine Welt etwas kompliziert sein mag, äußerlich,
but because you've discovered the inner, the freedom
diese innere Freiheit entdeckt hat,
of mind,
die innere Freiheit,
of this natural simplicity,
diese natürliche Einfachheit,
we could also call it finding the natural great peace.
oder man könnte auch sagen, wenn man jetzt natürlich großen Frieden gefunden
Once we discover that,
hat, wenn man dies entdeckt
that even though things may be complex outside,
dann mögen die Dinge recht komplex sein,
but yet that inside it's all simple,
ist es doch innen ganz einfach,
uncomplicated.